Okay, problems 4 and 5. Problem 4 first. Negative 11 equals a minus 5 all over 6. There's fractions in this problem. What I expect you to do, unless you're very, very neat and can write your entire fraction between the blue lines being these lines, right? If you can't write your entire fraction between those blue lines without writing over the lines, then you're going to need to use two lines. And if you need to use two lines, then the numerator goes on the first line in between the lines, and the denominator goes on the next line in between the lines. The fraction bar itself can go right there over the line to divide it, okay? So let's see, negative 11 equals a minus 5 over 6. There's something going on here because the rule is that we reverse the order of operations to figure out what to do first when we're undoing it. For those of you that are understanding what I'm saying when I'm saying that, it makes it very clear, what do I need to do right now? So you say, okay, well, if I knew what A was, let's say we knew that A was, oh, I don't know, for example, 10, okay? If we knew that A was 10, then what would we do here first? Would we do the subtraction first, or would we do this division first? And when I do it like that, you might then realize, actually, we have to do that subtraction first, because what it's like is that there's like an invisible parentheses here saying, do that top number first. Figure out what's up there first, and then take the result, the difference, in this case, difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. Take that difference and divide by 6. Okay, so the first thing we would undo is this. I'm sorry, the first thing we would do in order of operations is this, and then divide by 6. So the last thing is the divide by 6, and that's what we undo first. These kind of problems, if you don't realize that there's an invisible parentheses there, or on top and bottom of a fraction bar like that, then it's a little bit hard to figure out what to undo first. Okay, but we're undoing this divided by 6 first. So how do we undo divided by 6? With a times 6. So if we want to multiply both sides by 6, we write that 6 first, and then in parentheses, everything that's on that side. Equals, we write the number we're multiplying by first, and then in parentheses, everything that was on that side. That way, we ensure that the entire left-hand side gets multiplied by 6. The entire right-hand side gets multiplied by 6. Now, next line. 6 times negative 11 is negative 66. 6 times all of this, well, we don't need to do a lot of complex calculation here. This times 6 undoes that divided by 6, so we don't even need to think a whole lot about it, as long as we know that this divided by 6 and this times 6 are inverse operations. They will cancel each other out, leaving us just a minus 5. Okay, so here, rather than spending a lot of time saying, what does this calculate to? What you should know is the reason we picked this is because it undoes that, and it just undo it, get rid of it. And that gets used up at the same time, so they both go away. A minus 5. So now you've got negative 66 equals a minus 5. Now what's happening to A? 5 is being subtracted from it. Don't say it's being subtracted by 5. That's actually, mathematically, that's a nonsensical word, set of words. It's not being subtracted by 5. 5 is being subtracted from it. Okay, we're taking 5 away from A. So if 5 is being subtracted from A, we undo that minus 5 with a plus 5. So take what's there on the left-hand side, plus 5. Take what's there on the right-hand side, plus 5. Okay? Now we sort this out. Negative 66, add 5 to it. We cancel out 5 of these negatives and leave us with negative 61. Okay, these undo each other, leaving you with A. So negative 61 equals A. Resist the urge to just switch sides. Okay, when we do all of this, A lands on the right-hand side. Just that's where it is. Leave it there. Okay, so negative 61 equals A. Now for our proof, we rewrite the original equation unchanged. Again, for fractions, we use two lines, and then on the next line, we write everything exactly the same. Just wherever there was a variable, we replace it with parentheses and substitute in the number, negative 61 in this case, okay? Everything just written exactly the same as up here, but wherever there's a variable, parentheses, and the number inside. Now, and I've done this before with other problems, I'm going to cover this negative 11 up, okay? There's nothing to do there. It's going to just stay negative 11 from the top all the way to the end, but I'm going to cover it up. Why am I going to cover it up? Because here, it's an algebraic expression, okay? There's a variable in it. That's what makes it an algebraic expression. And this expression can't be simplified, but once we substitute the value of a into it, it no longer has a variable in it. So it's no longer an algebraic expression. Algebra relates to variables, so that's why it's called an algebraic expression. But this doesn't have variables now. It's no longer an algebraic expression. It is a numerical expression, or made of numbers. And this can be simplified. So we don't even need to know what's on the left-hand side. We just simplify this side. And this is where you know, oh yeah, that's right. This gets done before the divided by 6. Okay, you maybe at this point are like, yeah, of course we have to do that on the top first before we divide by 6. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to do that top part first. And what is that top part? Well, the top part is negative 61. You're down 61, go down another 5. Now you're down 66. This simplifies to negative 66 and still gets written over 6. Now you've got negative 66 divided by 6. Negative divided by positive is negative. And how many times does 6 divide into 66? 11 times. So we've got this whole thing, once the a value is substituted and done order of operations line by line, results in negative 11. At this point, you look over here on the left-hand side and verify, oh yeah, and that's what we had on the right, on the left-hand side, so it does equal, okay? I covered it up, and you might consider at least mentally covering it up, because the difficulty is that you see negative 11 over here and you're like, I need to force it to be negative 11 because that will make it right. But it's either right or it's wrong. And if it's wrong, you can't just force the numbers to be the same and therefore right, because there's a mistake. If there's a mistake, there's a mistake. Just accept it and use your proof to identify that there's a mistake. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you force it into being the number that's on the other side just because you know it's supposed to be, and it doesn't actually mathematically turn into that, then I'm just not going to give you any points, because you're now just trying to make it look like you did it right even though you didn't. And you're not going to get partial points for that. Okay, number 5. Again, okay, number 5. 8 plus z divided by negative 2 equals negative 6. This is a problem where there is an invisible parentheses, right? Invisible parentheses, because it's a fraction bar problem, like that. So why do I say this? Because when we're thinking about how to undo a multi-step problem or more than a one-step problem, we get to determine which thing happens and gets undone first. So we reverse the order of operations. Because there's invisible parentheses, whenever you have a fraction bar like this, you say, okay, well, that obviously would get added first if you knew z, right? These would get added, then you would divide by negative 2. And since that's the last thing that happens is divided by negative 2, it's the first thing we're going to undo. And how do we undo divided by negative 2? With a times negative 2. So I've said this before, I'll say it again. We're putting this negative 2 in front and not in the back, because if we wrote it in the back, times negative 2, that actually doesn't say times negative 2, that says minus 2. And even if you did multiply by negative 2 and cancel those out and have that as a result, what you've written is not what you're doing, and you can't miscommunicate your mathematics like that. If you write it the way that I wrote it here, it says minus 2, and so therefore you're not doing what you've written, and we need to write what we mean. So we put negative 2 in the front, times everything on that side, equals negative 2 in the front, and then parentheses, everything on that side. The reason that we picked times 2 is to undo that divided by, or times negative 2 is to undo divided by negative 2. And so those undo each other, and we're left with 8 plus z. And here, negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12. So what's happening to z now? 8 is being added to it. How do we undo this plus 8? With a minus 8. So take everything that's written there, minus 8. Take everything that's written there, and a minus 8. And what we're not doing is writing 8 minus 8 plus z, okay, and burying that change in the middle. We write our change at the end. Is it different? Like, that mean that this isn't equal? No, it is equal. The problem is we're trying to communicate to others, and for complex problems, if you bury your change somewhere in the middle, trying to put this negative 8 next to this positive 8, because they're like terms and they will get combined, if you bury it in the middle, it becomes very difficult for someone who's trying to analyze what you've done to see, versus doing it like this, where we say what was there is what they start with, and then they put a change. What was there is what they start with, and then they put the exact same change. And it makes it really easy to see and to analyze. Because remember, we are communicating our thinking to others, and we want to make it easy for others to understand what we've done and not make it a whole lot of work for them to sort out. Yep. And then when we do it the same standard way, everybody's doing the same thing, and that's really what we want to be doing with math, is having a consistent standard way that everybody's doing it, so we're all communicating in the same language and speaking it well. Okay, this 8 is undone by this minus 8, leaving us just with z, and this 12 minus 8 is 4. So z equals 4. Put a box around it. Now up here, we write proof and the original equation, and then we rewrite the exact same original equation, except wherever there was z, we put parentheses and the value of it inside. Okay, I apologize for my marks. It looks like I didn't make that clear that that was a negative, and I actually apologize for that, because that isn't clear whether I meant to erase it or not. Okay, here that was a mark that I put that I had made a mistake, and I went back and I changed things. That is pretty well erased, but this is actually supposed to be there, and you can't tell whether it's erased or not, and that's my fault. We don't want to do these partial marks where you can't tell whether I'm writing -2 or I'm trying to make it a +2. So if you make a mark that you don't want there, erase it fully. If you do want a mark there, make it clear. Yeah. So my apologies that that's unclear. That is a negative. You can see it from there to there to there. It is negative. So we've substituted in, written everything else the same. And now remember, this is an invisible parentheses saying do the top first. So 8 plus 4 is 12 over -2 equals -6. And a positive divided by a negative is negative. 12 divided by -2 is -6. So -6 equals -6, check.